My boss sent me an email at 4 a.m. for an event I needed to attend by 7 a.m. My workday starts at 8. Now she wants to meet with me tomorrow. My boss is notorious for never reading an email. Over the past year, she has sent me multiple emails asking questions, when the answers could be found in the email she was already responding to. This all came to a head with a conference. She asked me if I wanted to attend a conference, and I responded yes. She then asked if I would register everyone for the event. I asked for details about the registration. She forwarded an email with these details, and that email also contained many questions. Knowing her, I asked her if she had responded to those questions. She replied, "What questions?" Literally scroll up and look at the email. Now, having been made aware of these questions by me, she asked me to respond to them. One question was if we wanted to host a booth at the conference, to which she said yes. I responded with answers and checked it off my list. She received an email late March stating they hadn't received our registration yet and that they needed it by April 1st. She forwarded me this communication April 2nd and asked me to handle it. No, I didn't forget. The conference had a tech issue and I cleared it up. But she sent me the email to handle this after it was already late. This was the last communication I received about this conference until 4 a.m. the day of the event. I logged on at the start of my workday at 8 a.m. to see two emails from her. One, a forward at 4 a.m., dated over a week prior, with details for setup for the booth and how it started at 7 a.m. Mind you, the conference is an hour drive for me. At 6 a.m., another email, asking if I had everything good to go for our booth. When I logged on at 8 a.m., I replied and said due to not receiving this information until this morning, I would not have time to go back to the office and retrieve the booth materials and still arrive at the conference on time. I shut my computer and drove to the conference. When I arrived, I had a pretty nasty email from her stating she had asked me to handle the booth, so of course we would be having one and that I needed to go back to the office and get it. I replied that I was driving and now arrived at the conference, and that there was a box at the other office, 10 minutes away from the conference, that she could grab on her way in. She grabbed it, and we had a booth. She came up to me at the conference asking what had gone wrong, and I told her simply that I did not have this information until this morning and planned my workday around the information I had. She has now asked for a meeting with me tomorrow morning. I feel as though she is going to try to place blame on me here, and I don't know how to respectfully tell her this is her fault. She did not provide me with the info. She did not ask me to bring anything. She asked me to respond to an email, which I did. I want to express my frustration in how her lack of reading an email has continuously created more work that either gets trashed because she didn't read the info and now has scrapped the project after the work was completely done, or makes me have to make last-minute stressful adjustments for information she had weeks ago and never sent. But I also can't get fired in this job economy. What do I do when she inevitably places the blame of this on me tomorrow? Edit to add, this is an incredibly small company, 20 to 25 people. We do not have an HR, and there is no one above her. OOP's comments. Top comment. Storm101XX. I'd prepare a document with a timeline of what happened on the project, when it was sent to her, and when you received it. Tell her you're glad you've had the chance to sit down about this, as you think you've identified where the communication breakdown was. Go through the timeline and factually state what happened. She literally cannot argue with this. Do not raise your voice or get passionate. Keep it calm and neutral. Tell her the fact you're not receiving correspondence in a timely manner is causing extra work and unneeded stress. Give a few examples. Neutral tone. Ask her if moving forward, if you are dealing with a project, please could correspondence be sent directly to yourself, and you will CC to boss where needed, and if things do come in via her inbox, you get sent them in a timely manner and not at 4 a.m. the morning of. If she fights back, just calmly state, all I am requesting is that I am given access in a timely manner to the information I need to perform well at my job. I don't believe this is unreasonable. I want to do a good job, but I need you to set me up for success by sharing essential information. I cannot stress how much tone is vital to this conversation. No one likes being told they are the problem, so keep any frustration or emotion out of it and state everything calmly, or she'll get defensive. OOP, thank you. I will be too nervous to yell or raise my voice, so I'm not worried about that, but I am worried I will shut down and just take the blame, and these frustrations will continue. Commenter, HR. Immediately. OOP. It's an incredibly small company. We don't have any HR. OOP's boss's boss. There is no one above her. Very small company. Commenter. Do you have an office manager? Ours doubles as our HR. If you can have a witness in the meeting, then record the call. That way you at least have proof of the conversation if she tries to spin this. The good news is if she does try and fire you over not checking your email at 4 a.m., then you can sue them into the ground. OOP. Now I'm unsure if this is why she asked to meet in person, so I couldn't record it. Usually our Monday meetings are virtual, Same commenter, wow, what a snake. Look up your state laws. Some have one-party consent to recording audio. If yours is a two-party consent state, then you can tell her at the start of your meeting that you'd like to record the conversation. If she says no, or you aren't comfortable doing that because I don't think I'm that brave, then try to find a third person to be in that meeting. OOP. Thank you so much. I looked it up, and we are a one-party consent state. I will be recording the meeting. Commenter. In registering for the conference and booth, you didn't learn the dates and times? She told you to handle it. To me, that would include you following up to ensure you handled it. Did you not use your email and or contact info to sign up? OOP. I was aware of the conference time, which is what I prepped for. The booth setup was hours before that, which was sent in a separate email only to her. She told me to respond to the email about wanting a booth. The email claiming she asked me to handle it was after I told her I did not have time to go to the office, as at that time I was unaware her expectation was for me to prepare the booth. She only asked me to tell them we wanted one and had no other communication with me about the booth. I emailed in response to the questions, but she was a speaker and sponsor at the event, so she was their point of contact. They did not include me in any communications about the event. All came forwarded from her. But thank you, because I expect that is exactly what she will say to me tomorrow. Commenter. I'm pretty surprised you didn't bother to follow up, to be honest. You knew it was a yes to a booth and surely knew it would need to be set up before the conference started. Did you check with her if she'd received anything further in the days before, knowing what she is like? Did you try contacting the conference directly to find out what was happening? To me, this reads like you both dropped the ball. OOP. Downvoted. I feel it shouldn't be my responsibility to manage her and check in on if she is doing her job correctly. I am her subordinate. Even knowing what she is like, it is still her responsibility to do her job. Yes, I could have followed up, but I have many other things that I juggle, and this was outside of my normal scope, so I made sure to add the task to my checklist, and when I sent the email, I checked it off. I fulfilled my duties with the task I was asked to do. This was not a typical place we would host a booth for, so my brain was on attending the conference, as that's what was asked of me. There was zero communication that I was in charge of setup. If that was the expectation, I needed the details before 4 a.m. day of. Could I have managed my manager? Yes. But should I be reprimanded for not doing her job for her? I don't think that's right. Update post. Next day. To clear some things up for those of you claiming I lack initiative, and this was on me, I have started many projects from day one that have been solely on me and my ideas. I've started committees and implemented new marketing that has been wildly successful, simply because I saw the need for it at the org. You also seem to have missed the part where I say I frequently get the go-ahead for projects, but because she didn't read the email fully, after completion of the project she scraps it. I understand that this can look like a lack of initiative, but trust me, if you knew all the ins and outs about this organization, you would not think that. Many of my coworkers have these same issues with her. It's illogical to blame all of us when the common denominator is her. To those asking why I did not follow up, hindsight is 20/20, and yes, there was more I could do to ensure all ran smoothly. But at the end of the day, that is her job. I already caught many mistakes on this conference alone, like the fact that she didn't even read the questions to begin with. To talk about how jobs require to manage up seems like a way to blame low-level employees for the mistakes of their managers. If you don't have the ability to manage, don't be a manager. Plain and simple. The wording to me was to respond to the questions. After the 4 a.m. email, she claimed she asked me to handle it. Had this been the wording from the beginning, maybe this would have ended differently. Many of you are saying she delegated the entire conference to me, and this was not the case. She asked me to do 2 things, which I did. Not to mention, in the past when I have followed up to ensure she has gotten things done, she responds very irritatedly, as if I am implying she cannot do her job. This conference is not the typical place we would host a booth for, so after completing my task, it left my brain. It was also outside of my normal scope of work. I've had many managers who are great at their job, and I love being able to take stuff off their plate and make their day easier. I cannot do that with someone who does not communicate and does not manage. To those asking why I didn't call her instead of emailing and leaving, she was in a meeting and I had to leave within 5 minutes to attend the conference on time. To those saying if she's responding to emails at 4 a.m., she must be swamped with work, so give her a break. She frequently boasts about how she works unusual hours. It is normal for me to wake up with many emails from her during that time and not be able to reach her in the afternoon. No, I am not an on-call employee. All in all, with how frequently she doesn't read emails, this was bound to happen one day. So it's frustrating that many of you are blaming me and expecting me to magically know the details of emails I never received. But I do appreciate your perspective. Now to the conversation. It went very well for what it was. I built it up in my head based on previous experiences with her. There still seemed to be some notions of her trying to blame me and saying she had handed this off to me, and so she didn't look at her other emails related to it thinking I had it handled. She said her perspective was that I would be the point of contact, and I told her I didn't feel that expectation was received. I explained that I had done the things she asked and was unaware that the expectation was for me to be a point of contact, and therefore did not relay that info to them and never received further communication. I said going forward it would be helpful that when I bring up the things I am working on at our one-on-ones, that is my exhaustive list, and if there is something on there she is thinking I am handling that I did not mention, I need to be aware of the expectation to complete that project, and that this will help us be on the same page about expectations. I didn't say this, but on my end, I thought that was the entire point of a one-on-one, and am wondering why she hasn't been doing that all along. Why didn't she bring up this conference at the previous one-on-one when I didn't say it was on my list? She mentioned something about how she doesn't want to micromanage and just lets everyone run with things. In my opinion, this is a cop-out to not be a manager at all. You can effectively manage without being a micromanager. I told her I don't need someone to micromanage me. I just need clear communication of what is expected of me. If you want me to be handling a project and not just a quick task for it, I need to be told that I am in charge of the project. I don't see that as micromanaging. Overall, although the convo went better than expected, I'm still frustrated because she seems oblivious to her role in all this. To her fairness, she did ask me to come to her with things she is doing that upset me, but I genuinely don't know how to respectfully tell my boss to just read emails because she constantly misses details. And, in a previous experience, when told to come to superiors with issues, I did, and they let me go. It wasn't a job, but for the purposes of this, it works. So I don't exactly feel confident telling her things she's doing wrong. Immediately after my meeting, my coworker told me about issues she was having with her because of the inability to slow down and read an email. It takes us so much more time to go back and forth in communication than if she were to just read it the first time. I would have felt a lot better at the end if she had owned up to how she didn't properly communicate with me, because I still feel like she blames me for this on her end. Hopefully things will get better moving forward because this is really the only negative thing about my job. The pay, flexibility, schedule, and healthcare are all fabulous, and I don't want to lose that finding a new job, so I've been toughing it out. I'm trying to have a positive outlook, but these frustrations have been building for so long, I'm having a hard time being optimistic. Thank you for everyone who validated my feelings and gave me advice. And thank you to those who provided other perspectives respectfully. I do appreciate seeing the other side when it's not presented in a rude manner. Some of OOP's comments. Top comment. Fat girl shout. Info. Has there been any brainstorming with her about other ways to communicate that aren't emails? As in, if she won't read them in detail, what's the alternative? I worked at a place 10 plus years ago where we had rules about email subjects so everyone could better manage their emails. I don't remember all the details, but it was like each subject line had to start with a code/direction word like action, due March 3rd, or info only. Granted, that doesn't help with external emails, but maybe for you folks working under her. Just throwing stuff out there. OOP. We basically just settled on better in-person communication at our one-on-ones. Like I said, I don't know why she wasn't telling me things she expected that I didn't mention were what I was working on, but no, she's only ever in the office for like 2 hours a week on Mondays. And I usually work from home on Mondays, and we meet virtually. Now she's asked me to come on Mondays. Which sucks, but if it makes me less frustrated with her, then cool. Commenter. Boss sounds difficult, but still the boss. Time to look for a new job if you can't handle this. But I've got some news for OP. This isn't unusual when you work in a junior job. For all we know, the boss is a great speaker. Talented at their job, not detail-oriented. There are many talented, successful people in the world who are not organized and are annoying to their subordinates when they drop the ball. The best thing to do is be empathetic, turn around and get the dumb display when they forget, and move on with your life. OOP. She spent the entire conference on her phone and used ChatGPT to create her presentation entirely. LOL. Commenter. It sounds like you did manage up, at least what my definition and experience is with that concept. There was a problem that involved you, but was not fully your responsibility. Instead of letting the higher-up make it your responsibility and give you crap for what failed, you told the truth, did not allow all the fault to lay at your feet, and got some changes implemented. That's an atta girl moment. OOP. Thank you. The term itself makes it sound like I should be managing my manager, making sure she's on task, and getting her job done. I know a lot of people in the comments here and a lot on the original will say, that's just how work is, and you lack initiative if you can't do that. I don't agree. If you are in a managing role, it is your job to manage me. I've had great managers, so I know it's possible. And I don't think as a work culture we should just accept having to manage our bosses when the roles should be reversed. Sorry for the little rant, but I'm passionate about things. Commenter. I'm a manager. I have a lot of things going on, and sometimes I don't have time to respond to every email. I actually don't respond to most of them. We often do tabling events. If I asked one of my leadership level employees to respond to an email about a tabling event, I can't imagine a scenario where they wouldn't at least be like, am I taking care of that tabling event? They are involved. It is on their radar. At the very least, I would expect them to take lead and get someone scheduled to run the table. Ideally, they would take ownership and just take care of it. From my perspective, it's at least 51% your fault. OOP. I appreciate your perspective, but honestly, I think that makes you a poor communicator. You need to ask for what you want. No, I'm not saying you have to walk them through exactly what to do, but if she wanted me to be the point of contact, just say that. It's so simple. Commenter. Please make sure you follow up your one-on-ones with a written response confirming projects/tasks. You are going to need to CYA with a manager like this. If you just do face-to-face, the next time she fails to communicate in a project she is in charge of flops, she is going to lie and say she told you to handle it, and you won't have proof to the contrary. OOP. Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday. After each meeting, I will probably send a list of what I'm working on so she can see, check back if needed, and it covers my behind.